bottom line, Gerrit Cole's got to put somebody on their behind. That it's not for the reasons that I think many of you probably think when you first hear me say that. Oh, put him on his ass, throw at him, fight. No. It's really so much deeper than that. There's one of two teams that's going to make the World Series from the American League this year. It's either the Yankees or the Orioles. And every little advantage adds up. The first advantage was the Orioles won 3 out of 4 out in Baltimore. Yanks weren't playing well. Obviously, a very different team. Judge was at $170 at that point. Boom, we know what happened. Now you meet up last night. Judge gets rocked. Thank God he's okay. Torres gets hurt. He's okay. But there's a checkpoint here from a confidence perspective. And this inner belief that we can kind of do whatever we want en route to winning the division again. And the message that needs to be sent today is, yeah, sure, you can throw up and in at our guys. We know that that's kind of your MO. That's fine. But you do it, and we're going to drill you twice. And we're going to hit you harder. And maybe we will break a bone. I know that this sounds almost like, whatever. I don't care. If the Yankees take this laying down, then this Yankee team doesn't have the heart that's required to be a champion. You take that field, and I'm sorry that Gerrit Cole has got to be put in this position, his first start. But you know what? Cortez didn't have the stones to do it. I'll tell you who would have. CC Sabathia. So whether it's Gunnar Henderson or whatever star you want to hit, somebody needs to get dropped tonight.
I'll tell you, BT, normally I would be in alignment with you. I'm not with this Yankee team. They've got bigger and better things to worry about and focus on than retaliation. The way that they retaliate, they played a terrific game last night and again avoided the Yankees have been very fortunate here, avoiding serious injury, potential death blows, whether it's Gerrit Cole, whether it is Juan Soto, whether it is Aaron Judge. The ultimate scare with all three of those guys, because you're talking about potentially serious injuries, and all three now, luckily, the Yankees have avoided disaster. So they went out there and kind of ho-hum, beat the best competition they'll faced in the American League last night, and I want to see them do it again today on the field. Judge, hopefully he's back in there. A lot of people says he wants to be back in there. Whoever is in there, I want to see them mash the Orioles on the field. I want to see Cole dominate them on the field, not get caught up in this retaliation. Maybe that's for another day. For right now, I think the Yankees have bigger fish to fry.
I don't think it's for another day. I think it's for today. I think it should have been last night. I think it's got to be swift, and I think it's got to be very clear. Like, it can't be, well, did that one get away? No. There's nothing to interpret. You judge, you put our star, you put one of the best baseball players I've ever seen, and his season in peril. And I'm not even saying that there was intent there, but that's not the point.
Oh, there was up and in.
Talking about from when Nestor threw one back at
No.
okay.
Oh, I thought you meant with Judge.
I don't know. I'm not saying that they meant to hit Aaron Judge, but that's not the point there. When you live inside, and by the way, commanding the inner part of home plate is part of baseball going back to Drysdale, Gibson, way before that. You have to do that so you can flourish and then own the outer portion of home plate. It's baseball. I don't have a problem with that. But I will have a big problem if the Yankees don't let the Orioles know this isn't happening on our watch. It can't happen. Yeah. This is what a championship DNA is built.
I'm not saying that they were intentionally hitting or trying to hit or hurt Aaron Judge or Gleyber Torres, but they do pitch up and in Baltimore, and that is something that the Yankees have to get acclimated to, or to your point, I guess, then they in turn need to pitch up and in. I don't think this is just go drill somebody in the back, start a brawl. The Yankees should be above that. And by the way, did you see the post game? I know people are trying to make a big deal about Alex Verdugo and what he was mouthing to one of the Orioles, but in the post game, to a man, Verdugo, Soto, they're all basically saying, we know he wasn't trying to hit Judge there. It's unfortunate. It happens. Hopefully he's okay. And then obviously Judge comes out and says he was fine, where the x-rays and everything was negative. So, and it's not just the result of that. They pitched up and in. Fine. It happens. Yankees dodged a major bullet here. Go out there and beat the Orioles on the field. Don't get caught up in a fight. You want to pitch inside? Sure. I'm not looking to get Gerrit Cole in his first game back, his season debut, caught up in a bean brawl.
Well, then somebody should have done it last night.
Well,
this goes back to, and I know that you remember this, and this drove me nuts when it happened with Mike Mussina, Pedro, Soriano, Jeter. Plunk, hospital, right? Like, I want to make sure it's clear that this is not just, let's start a Royal Rumble.
Right.
This is a baseball thing. This is one team believing that they could do whatever is required to beat the Yankees, and if there's some collateral damage, meaning MRI tubes or broken bones, it's just baseball. They cannot operate with that freedom. They need to dig into the batter's box the way the Yankees batters dig into the batter's box with a fear of some sort of retribution or retaliation. That's baseball. Yeah. You can pitch inside and you can miss, but when you miss, there's consequences.
But Cortez shut him down last night.
I understand that.
And the Orioles are a good offensive ball club. And Nestor Nesty shutting them down without trying to throw inside or knock guys off or make them uncomfortable. Yankees should be above that. The Orioles want to be petty or throw inside or try to come up and in on certain guys. Eventually, they're going to have to pay the price. But for now, I think the more important thing is getting Gerrit Cole back healthy on that mound, going out there and making sure you take the series at the very least, hopefully sweep tomorrow, but take 2 out of 3. I wouldn't be, especially that Judge is okay. I wouldn't be trying to get caught up in any of that.
All right, BT and Sal here on the Fan. 888-808-1019. It's Brandon Tierney, Sal Licata show inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends of Town Fair, remind you that you always get the guarantee lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Like, really, I look at this season, especially given the dynamics of the quote-unquote relationship right now. The Orioles, now, it was a different Yankees team a year ago. They were almost 20 games better than the Yankees. Now, I know that the Orioles didn't win the World Series. They didn't even play well at all in the playoffs. But right now, the Yankees, even though the Yankees lead the division, are still, in my opinion, kind of chasing the Orioles, okay?
Well, because they, like you said, last year, hey, I don't care what difference you or changes you make, how different the team is. 19 games is 19 games. That is dominating the division over the Yankees. Oh, and by the way, when they played them this year, they took 3 of 4.
Well, think about it this way. Let's say the Knicks make a power move this like a massive, like a Booker, which I don't think, but just say Devin Booker.
Celtics still the team.
Well, that's the point. And, like, we can sit here and everybody can sit here and say, well, the Knicks are going to win 62, 63. Yeah, you still got to beat the Celtics who are the champions. So I know the Orioles aren't the champions, but they are divisional champions. So the road to the American League East runs through Baltimore. And Baltimore does this. They throw inside and they hit batters. And I respect that. Like, I actually wish that the Yankees did that a little bit more. Now, the numbers say that the Yankees don't have to. The Yankees ERA, astonishingly, without Gerrit Cole, is 2.96, by far the best in baseball. It's amazing what their starters have done. But this comes down to a series of checkpoints where you go through this 162-game gauntlet, and invariably these two teams will be on the same field in October, with one of them advancing to the World Series. Because it ain't going to be the Twins, it ain't going to be the Guardians, it's not going to be the Astros, it's not going to be anybody. It's going to be the Yankees or the Orioles. And every little advantage, whether it's the standings, statistical, in terms of individual play, or a mental advantage that one team has over the other, it adds up. It might be a small little checkpoint, but I'm not letting this go without checking them. You got to hit somebody. I don't think they will. Let me say that as well.
Right.
I don't think that they will.
Cole's not afraid to do so.
I know he's not.
But is this the right spot for that?
Why is it? Now, let me ask you this before we get to these goals.
Oh,
so what? What's not that? But it's not like it's the first time he's throwing a baseball in his life.
I understand. You want him to go out there and throw at somebody? What if he gets tossed from the game?
He's not going to get. No, here's the thing. Now, I would lose my mind if this happens. If Gerrit Cole doesn't do anything early, and I don't think that he will, and Baltimore hits somebody,
and then
the Yankees get warned, and they can't do anything.
So you want to get ahead of it.
Come out, throw the first shot, see what happens.
So you think, and again, I want to hear you answer this, because to me, the importance goes, beat the Orioles, have Gerrit Cole go out there and look healthy and look like himself, and then after that, any of the other stuff maybe would fall on a line. But for now, I want to beat the Orioles. You want Cole to go out there basically right out of the gate and send a message early on and drill somebody, or come?
You know what? Gerrit Cole's control is so impeccable. Just put it right under Henderson's chin. You don't want to hit him? Throw it right under his face.
Right out of the gate, like
right first at bat.
2015.
Well, I mean, not where it sails to the backstop. You know, you're talking about the World Series.
No. I'm talking about.
That's right. Listen, I don't care what it looks. I'll let them determine the best way to do it. Just do it. Like when Wayne Gretzky, got pounded by, some goon back in the 80s. Anybody have his back? Right. Connor McDavid? I mean, this happens in hockey. If you're going to allow your best player, the best player in baseball, to get stuffed into an MRI tube, at least his arm, because somebody's recklessly thrown inside and you don't do anything about it, that's on you. That's on the Yankees.
Judge almost took things into his own hands last night.
I knew he wasn't doing anything.
I would have liked to have seen that one.
He's not that guy. He's big, and I don't think he's a fighter. He's not. He's not.
Dude.
He's not.
Sometimes you get ticked off to
No, I know.
Now, I think maybe he was more worried about his hand. Like, what are you going to do if your hand is compromised?
You can't do anything. No, you just walk to first base and you hope that you're okay. No.
He gave a nice look like.
He did. Okay, so there you go. Think about the look that Aaron Judge shot Suarez, right?
Right.
Doesn't that tell you all you need to know?
That
I don't care what they said in the postgame show. Well, this is what they do. Soto and Doogie, not a big deal. Well, your star player, by the looks that he was shooting across the diamond, told us that he was bothered by it. Do something about it. 888-808-1019. It's BT and Sound on the Fan. Joe's in Bayshore. Joe, what's going on, buddy? How are you today? Joe.
BT?
Yes, go ahead, Joe. What's happening? Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm agreeing with you, and I'm making an analogy to the Mets season last year when you guys and everybody else was a little upset by the number of plunks that Pete got and the entire Met team.
Yeah,
and there was never any retaliation.
That's right.
And, you said something earlier about this is part of like a championship DNA. It's just part of a team DNA, and it's also part of baseball. And I love what you're saying, because you don't have to drill somebody in the back, but they got to throw inside. Yep. They got to throw up and inside. And if somebody gets hit, because that's what they're doing, and that's what you have to do. And if you do have to plunk somebody, plunk them in the back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely, Joe. There's always a place to hit somebody, whether it's in the thigh or the numbers, like Tino got hit by Benitez back, although that was just pure dirty. Listen, the bottom line is I'm happy that you brought up the Alonso stuff, because this will tell you that what's good for the goose, good for the gander.
But I
was all over the Mets for not having Pete Alonso's back.
Me too, but that's different. It went on forever. This is a one-off
You
here.
nipped this one in the bud. It's not a one-off, because then your second baseman got plunked.
If you thought, it wasn't one team. In this case, we're talking about the Orioles.
Sal, that was twice in one game in the same spot. Now, like Torres is not Robinson Cano, and he's certainly not Aaron Judge, but it doesn't mean that we look the other way just because he's hitting 235. Right. That's twice. Two guys in your starting lineup got absolutely popped, and both could have broken bones.
I also think it's a different circumstance here. We're talking about trying to beat this team. The Yankees need to beat this team.
Now do both.
No, well, they did once. They got to beat him again and win the series here, and you got Gerrit Cole coming. Like, maybe if this were a different situation and they had, I don't know, Luis Heel. I don't think Stroman's necessarily going to be the guy to retaliate. But
I think he would be.
I don't know. Look, maybe he would. I have no idea. But whoever, somebody outside of Cole making his season debut, maybe you want him to go out there and retaliate. Sure, I just don't think this is the right timing for it with the right guy on the mound. He would be the right guy in normal circumstances if Cole pitched the entire year, and here we are on June 19th, and he's out there in a random, mid-June game against the Orioles. Fine, you want to respond back. Not now in his season debut, and not against a team that I think it's important for them to win this series and focus on that. Obviously, they could do both, but my priorities would be winning the game and getting Gerrit Cole healthy as opposed to retaliating.
I have a sincere question. Like, I've heard this a lot, right? Mm-hmm. I don't tweet much at night. You know that. But I did tweet last night, drill him, retaliate. Like, immediately, right? Okay.
I understand it.
So, and most people were with me, and it's okay if you're not, but those who weren't were like, I'd rather win the game. I'm honestly, why can't you do both? Why is there this thought that if you hit somebody and you retaliate, you're destined to lose? Do both. Pick the right spot. Put somebody on their ass, dust them up, and win.
But what would have been the right spot last night? Now it's 4-0 game, and it seems great. And let's say Nestor Cortez hits somebody, and all of a sudden that starts a little bit of an Orioles rally. They did score 2 off of Holmes in the ninth with the 2-run homer. They won a 4-2 game. That's not a game you can be messing around in.
Yeah, I think that there's a reason why we look at like the '86 Mets with Darryl and Ray Knight and Kevin Mitchell. Number one, they were amazing, but think about how they protected their turf and their own. And the Yankees with O'Neill and Posada, like that's not by act. Championship teams don't just have stud players. They've got those intangibles, that unified force that reveals itself in moments like last night.
Do you think the Mets had a team that cared enough to go out there and protect one of their own?
No.
Okay.
That's why they sucked.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why they stunk.
Do you think, deep down, this Yankee team would really let that type of stuff go if it was if they thought it was a real issue? Or even this, do you really think they're going to let it go?
Well, based on their comments last night, they might.
I don't know, man.
Based on their inaction, they did.
Maybe for now.
So yes,
right,
maybe.
But maybe for now. I don't think Boone, I don't think Verdugo, Judge, I don't think those guys are going to be okay. Cole, I think those guys will police it when they feel the time is right. I just don't know if today is the day. Or tonight's the day.
I got you. John's in Fresh Meadows, BT and Sound on the Fan. What's going on, John? How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Hello, John.
I have an idea. You tell me if it's plausible.
Okay.
Sending a message to the Orioles if they hit one of the Yankees today. Now, my idea is that the next time they're up, we take Cole out, we put him at first base. We bring in a relief pitcher, maybe one from last night. Throw one pitch behind the batter and let them know what the message is. Okay, I could follow up from there. What do you think?
Well, I think it's very hokey, John. I understand what you're saying where, so this way, if obviously you get thrown out of the game, you are sparing Gerrit Cole. That's never going to happen. That's not going to happen.
I
appreciate the creativity, but no.
I'd rather than throw behind somebody. Like, what is that doing ultimately? What I would rather do is pitch up and in consistently. But again, if that's not your game, like the Orioles do this. The Yankees now what? They're going to try and do it just because the Orioles did? No. Or you want to hit somebody in the ribs then once and let them know we're not afraid to come in if we have to. So be careful because if it happens again, then we're going to bury you. I'm fine with that mentality. I just don't think right now with Cole on the mound in his season debut, you're trying to beat this team finally and win a series here is the right time to worry about that at the forefront.
Another one for you here is another question. So and you've said it a few times, and you're right. They said on the broadcast, you watch the Orioles, you know that's how they operate inside, and I respect that.
Judge said it after the game.
Aaron Judge said it as well. A few guys did, right? You said that's what the Orioles do, and you're right. Well, why do the Orioles do that? The Orioles, and I know you know this. I'm just asking rhetorically. The Orioles do that because, quite frankly, their pitchers really aren't dominant enough where if they get that extra inch by moving you off the plate, then when they get the stuff on the outer portion of home plate, instead of squaring things up on the barrel, in theory, softer contact, Orioles pitchers do better. Okay.
Or just making guys uncomfortable.
Well, that's what I mean.
Like
that's the baseball reason.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
So that is the baseball reason that they do this. So you're going to allow them to continue to get away with that? So forget about the retaliation or having somebody's back or Judge getting plunked. Just from a baseball philosophy, why wouldn't you try to interrupt what they're trying to do to just beat you?
I just wouldn't prioritize retaliation. You want to make them uncomfortable in the box? I'm fine with that. I'd prioritize winning and keeping Gerrit Cole healthy and getting him on track to go out there and win a World Series as opposed to just retaliate.
If I'm Gerrit Cole, I'd put somebody on their ass 3 minutes into this game. I swear to God.